Phoenix, Milwaukee, not what we expected. But I do need to ask you that you were somebody that when you talked about Giannis and his future in Milwaukee, it was very important. It was almost like, I think the way you put it was imperative that they get to a finals. Otherwise, he might start, despite that big contract, thinking twice about the ability for the Bucks to get to the finals. Him getting there with the Bucks this year, injury notwithstanding, does that maybe solidify him now as somebody that'll be in Milwaukee long term?
Look, Alan, I'm not Giannis. I don't know if Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee long term. I would think that, potentially, obviously, with them getting to the finals, maybe he could. But, we live in a reality in which, guys want to see results. And let's not act like that is not the case. I mean, look what's happening to Dame out in Portland. I mean, how many times do we put Dame on different teams? And I think that's how guys sometimes think when they stay at a place for a certain amount of time and they're not sure if they actually be able to cement their legacy by winning a championship. I think this year has been an incredible year for the Bucks. I think they are the best team. I think they are my favorite to win it. We'll see what that means for Giannis long term, whether, who knows what can bring, his way life-wise. But I think he's having a phenomenal year, and I think this team is having a phenomenal year.
Good morning, Jay. Okay, so we just kicked off the convo with the soundbite from Holiday calling Giannis the soul and Middleton the heart. What do you make of that soundbite, if anything?
You know what, Monica? We always we love to say who's the Batman and who's the Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I fall victim of this as well. Like, who's 1A and who's 1B? And, reverting back to my player mentality, who could care less about that? It's about, are we hitting our stride at the right time? Is everybody playing their role to the best of their degree? And Chris Middleton has shown a lot of, I think he's built a lot of stock with people over this past year because of the way he's answered the bell. And I think Giannis has cemented himself as, yes, I will be the guy that will end up getting you 40 points and 15 rebounds. And people will have my necks about, can I make free throws or can I be a closer? But I saw one great clip with him and PJ Tucker where he's like, man, there's nothing but the way up for me. Like, I'm only up for me, right? Like, so if that's his mentality that he's going to keep coming regardless of whatever people say, he's going to keep working on his game, and you got Chris Middleton that can close games and be a prolific player, and you got Drew Holiday who's stepping into his own as a player, damn, like, what else do you need? That's what a team is. That's what team basketball is, and I respect it. I respect the hell out of it at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
JWill joining us on the Goodyear Hotline. Alan Hahn, Monica McNutt, KJZ, ESPN Radio. So with Giannis, he's got multiple MVPs. He's got Defensive Player of the Year, All-NBA, All-Star. He's got everything on the mantle, right? All the trophies you could possibly have. The one thing, of course, missing an NBA championship. What would winning a championship do for his, the word legacy we throw around, Jay, but because of where he is, and we talk about all-time players all the time, what would it do for him to get that Larry O'Brien?
It would just make it even more of a solidified conversation that he's one of the most dominant players we've ever seen. And I think the journey for Giannis is 26 years old. He still has a lot more to achieve and a lot more to accomplish. But I think it starts to put him into that category as one of the all-time greats. It really does. Just because of the numbers he puts up, how he puts them up, how demonstrative he is. But obviously, look, this is still the beginning for Giannis, which is the crazy part. We've seen him accomplish so much, but still as it resides with this team, they are all in. Now, how will that translate next year? We'll see. If Brooklyn's healthy, how Miami comes back, post-COVID, how other teams, what happens with Philadelphia and the 76ers, what happens with the Knicks. There are a lot of teams what happens with the Hawks, a lot of teams that will fight for that spot. But I think that starts to put this team, I think also for him and his team, Alan, one of the best teams there has been. Look at what their home record has been over the last, 2 or 3 years as well. It's never panned out in the playoffs, but it's been one of the most dominant team performances we've seen for a while from the Milwaukee Bucks as well.
So this is an interesting finals. As Alan has pointed out, Jay, multiple times, nobody expected these teams to be here. All right, here we are. But you've got one
old man voice with me, by the way. Like, why would you do that?
Because Jay, he's
Get
like,
off my lawn.
He will not let it go. We're here, and we're loving the fact that we're here as true basketball hoop heads. All right, so you mentioned Giannis's legacy and what the Larry O would do for him. On the other side, Jay, 16 years. Took him a long time to get there. Finally, he's here. Legacy, Lario, who needs it more? It feels like Father Time mandates that CP3 needs to get it done this time around more. What you got?
Monica, I hate these questions. Who needs it more?
No,
I mean, damn, we can all use it.
Job.
We can all use it. But, I mean, the reality is I've watched CP3 since his time at Wake Forest, and I watch him grow as a human being and as a basketball player. And watching his trials and tribulations and how he has handled himself with the Clipper situation with Donald Sterling and how he handled that, how he worked with Adam Silver in that regard, how he got kind of left in the Doc Rivers scenario. Could that work out, that relationship with Blake and DeAndre, to then travel and go to different team scenarios, to go to Houston, to give it a shot, to be injured again. And I feel like a career that's always been nagged by injuries at the wrong time for him, to then rebrand himself, rebuild himself, lose weight, go to OKC, replenish that locker room of guys like, just just be a leader for that organization, and now to have it pan out to go to Phoenix and look, you can only play the teams in front of you. For him to win a championship, I mean, I would love it for both Giannis and I would love it for both CP3. But damn, for CP3 and everything he's been through, I don't want to, mitigate and say that Giannis has been through less. But just for the years and the time he's put in to get to this point, to have it culminate with winning a championship, what an incredible story that would be for CP3 and his legacy.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.